Thank you so much for joining me today at Everyday Yoga. My name is Christine, and today I would like to talk about and meditate on how many people, women especially, have decided during the pandemic of 2020, it's now February of 2021, but how many of us have decided to stop coloring our hair and let our natural hair shine through. Like many of us, I have been coloring my hair for 30-something years, and I honestly did not know what was underneath all those years of hair color. And I decided that while I was working from home, it would be the very perfect time to find out. And I know many of us have. I have found videos on YouTube and support groups on Facebook that all encourage one another during this time to really embrace ourselves and to let ourselves be real and be free to express ourselves. And a lot of the feedback that I'm seeing is people who have very little support from their families and their friends, people who are afraid of looking old. Funny thing is, I have seen pictures on this Facebook support group I'm on, and if I remember to, I'll post a link to it down below. They're 20 years younger than me, and they are a lot more gray than I am. So I'm starting to think that gray hair really doesn't have a whole heck of a lot to do with age. I got my first gray hair, to my knowledge, when I was only 17 years old. I'm still figuring out where I'm going to go from here. I'm going to tilt my head forward so the camera can see. I have not dyed my roots now since May of 2020. I have seen my hair colorist a couple of times to start blending in some of the gold highlights so that the grays would blend in a little bit better, and I'll try to post the pictures here in the video to show the progress as it's been closing in on a year here since I decided to embark on this. I think the real problem is not that we don't love ourselves, and it's not that we don't realize that we're more than just our bodies, and it's not that we don't embrace our bodies for who and what they are, although there is some of that, of course. I think the real issue here is how we perceive age, especially in America, but I think all across the world. Men who are old and gray tend to be wise and wizards and silver foxes, gentlemen, elders, statesmen. Women of a certain age tend to be witch and crone and hag. There's nothing positive about any of those terms that women use or the world at large uses for women of a certain age, or simply women of gray hair who are actually pretty young. So I think the thing is, at the core, we need to change the names we are called, because once we do that, we may begin to change the way we are perceived in the world and how we perceive ourselves. In 2021, there are more women in positions of corporate power, political power, more women who have higher education, more women who are doing amazing things out in the world than ever before, all while taking care of our families, our parents, our spouses, our children. And we're doing it in record numbers. We are no longer the old lady down the street who's just a drag on society and needs to be taken care of until she dies. We are women of education. We are women of influence. We are women of worth and of value. So until we start coming up with better names, elder for a woman kind of brings about the perspective of respect and knowledge and wisdom. Matriarch, the leader of a family, of an industry, of a dynasty. So let's take it upon ourselves to begin to call ourselves our own worth and our own value. I'm curious to see if we can change the conversation around letting ourselves go by stopping coloring our hair to growing into our full selves by embracing every strand we've earned. So I invite you to take a deep breath with me. Inhaling the heart up towards the sky, inhaling the crown up towards the sky and tucking the chin. And when you exhale, let the shoulders relax and let your sit bones really, really ground down into the seat you're being supported by right now. Rub your hands together, creating just a little bit of heat. Back and forth, tapping into that energy that is within and throughout and between us all. And then lay one hand and then the other on your heart, continuing to breathe, drawing the crown up towards the sky as you inhale, grounding down into the earth as you exhale, letting your space between the vertebrae be broad and wide. Really taking up space through our height. While you might not be physically tall, you can still feel tall. You can still walk tall. You can still embody the dignity that comes with being every inch of yourself. So with your hands at your heart, drawing yourself up into your full height, remember everything you have earned throughout your life, whether you're 17 or 77. Every gray strand on your head tells a story. Every gray strand says, I am wise. I am full of the knowledge of my own self-worth. I am wise. I am strong. I have value. And I deserve to be here. So as you inhale, remind yourself, I am home. I have arrived. And as you exhale, become more fully who you truly are. Every little last bit of you. And if you care to join me, please bring your hands to heart in this prayer position, which is where we recognize the light in one another. Tilt the chin gently and say, Namaste.